Welcome to Module 4. In Module 3, we looked at sorting and filtering in Excel. And there was a database that was given to us and a problem for us to execute. And in course of trying to explore more on the problem from the given database, we're able to see the different level of sorting and filtering in Excel. Without wasting time, today we'll be looking at formulas and function in Excel. And before us here, we are going to start by looking at operator precedence. Operator precedence. Before you carry out any mathematical expression in Excel, you need to note that there is an order of operation, okay? So the order of operation now is called the precedence of a operation. So we have here the PEDMAS, just like you have your board mass, okay? We have our PEDMAS, and before us is an arithmetical function for us to carry out. The problem said using the operator precedence as listed on the table below, calculate the following arithmetic functions, okay? Now we have the parenthesis, which is the P, the E for exponents, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, S for subtraction. Now from the first problem we have, it said 5 minus 2 star 4 minus times 4 minus 7 times 2. Without wasting time, let's go to the Excel file. Yeah, from the Excel file, you note that we have P alone, which is higher on the hierarchy. P comes first, followed by the exponential, followed by division and multiplication, and addition and subtraction, which means that these two are of the same level. These other two are also of the same level. One thing you need to know that operators within the same precedence, you start operating or you start your calculation from the left to the right, okay? Without wasting time, let's look at the problem we have here. Looking at this one, we said 5 minus 2. Considering the precedence of operation, you note that this bracket, which is the parenthesis, will be considered first before anyone outside the bracket. So let's look at it. 5 minus 2 is what? We have 3, okay? So we have 3 times 4 minus 7 times 2 gives us what? 14, okay? So we have expatiated on the given problem. So when you click on this problem, let's see what Excel gives to us as the answer. If you click on it, Excel gives you minus 2. So, but how did you get this minus 2 is what you want to note, and which is what we just did here, okay? We just expatiated on this particular problem. And now looking at this, you now have multiplication as an operator. We have your minus sign as an operator. Which one comes first? You consider the multiplication, looking at our precedence of a operation, okay? So multiplication comes before the subtraction. So 3 times 4 is what? Gives you 12, okay? Then 12 minus 14 will give you minus 2. So that is how we got minus 2 there. Now looking at this, what will Excel give us when we have this kind of function? Let's see. Excel gives us 50. So we'll be wondering, how did you get 50? Now let's explore on the problem, okay? So 5 exponent 2, that means 5 raised to power 2, and that comes first before the multiplication, so we consider that first, okay? So we now have equal to 5. This is the same thing as 25. 5 raised to power 2 is 25 times 2, which is equals to what? 50. So that is how we got 50 there, okay? So now looking at this, we have multiplication and division. Okay, now we have 18 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5, okay? Now looking at our operator of precedence, we have minus sign, we have division sign, we have plus sign. Which one comes first? The division sign. So this is the same thing as 18 minus 9 divided by 3, you have 3, okay, plus 5, okay. So when you carry out this function, what will you have? This 18 minus 3. So minus and plus are of the same precedence, okay? So you start from left to right, irrespective of the operator. So you now have 18 minus 3, which is 15. 15 plus 5, which is what? 20. So that's how we got 20 there. Now let's look at this. 5 divided by 5 times 4, okay. So now we have division sign, we also have multiplication sign. Are they of the same precedence? Yes, multiplication and division are of the same precedence. So you start from left, irrespective of the operator that comes first. So now let's consider the division sign first. So 5 divided by 5 is what? This is the same thing as 1 times 4, which is equals to what? 4, okay. So now looking at this, we now have times multiplication sign coming first before the division sign. Let's look at it, and it's the same values we have here that we have here, okay, irrespective of the operators. So now let's see what will arrive here. 5 multiplication comes before division. They are of the same precedence, so therefore we are going to start from left to right, which is now 5 times 4, which is 20, divided by 4, which is also equals to what? 20 divided by 5, sorry, divided by 5, which is also equal to what? 4. You see, we arrive at the same value, okay. So now let's look at this. We have 18 plus 9 slash 3 minus 5. So from our precedence of operation, we are going to look at the one in the bracket first, okay. So this is going to give us 18 plus 3 minus 18 plus 9 divided by minus 3 minus 5 is what? It gives you minus 2. You have minus 2. You can't have the same operator one place. You have division and have multiplication all together. So let's put this in bracket, okay. So this value will still give you this. It will give you this sign. This is the same thing as 18 minus, now 9 divided by 2, what do you have? You have 4.5. 9, this is the same thing as 18 minus 4.5, okay, which is now equals to 18 minus 4.5, which is now 13.5, okay. So that's the answer. Now let's look at this. We have plus sign, we have minus sign, and they are of the same precedence. So we start from left to right. So this is the same thing as 7 plus 2, which is 9, minus 5, which is now equal to what? 4. We now have our values, just for us to see how we apply our precedence. So in any mathematical expression, there is need for us to look at the precedence of a operation, okay. So now I hope with this you'll be able to apply it in any other functions or arithmetical expression you are computing or calculating. You should be able to consider the order of a operation. We have another problem. Let's look at the second problem that was given to us. The second problem here says a table comprising of yearly record of numbers of items sold per year within the last 6 years. That is 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 is given. The table is given. Now, the question is, from the given table, we are asked to calculate the following. 1. The total number of items sold per year. The difference between item numbers in year 2019 and 2018. Then we're also asked to look at the yearly average of items sold, the monthly minimum and maximum number of items sold within the 6 years. Then we are asked to apply the count and count a function to June and July. Without wasting time, I would like us to go to the table, okay? Before us here is a table comprising of yearly items sold within interval of 6 years, 2018 through 2023. So this is the table, okay? And we are asked to find the total. So the total number of items sold per year, the difference between items number in year 2019 and 2020, okay? Then on our table we are going to have this, okay? We are going to have total number of items sold per year. So we are talking about each year, and the column represents each year. So we are going to put our total here, which is a total. Then we are also asked to find the difference between 2019, that is the difference year, let's say the difference between 2019 will going to be minus 2018, okay? So we're going to have it in that column. Let's format it, okay? So, and again, looking at the question, it says, the third one said the yearly average of items sold. So let's come here, the yearly, each year's average. So now we're going to have our average here, average, okay? So the next question says the monthly minimum and maximum number of items sold within the 6 years. That the monthly minimum, okay? So we're now looking at the monthly minimum. So we're going to have maximum, and here we're going to have minimum, okay? Because we want to know the monthly minimum and maximum value sold. And again, we're asked to carry out our counts. We are asked to apply the count and count a function to June and July, okay? Count and count a. So this is June. I have my June here, and this is July, and I have my July here, okay? So I chose to put that there, okay? I chose to put that there. So count and count. So now I can say from here equals let me say June equals June equals June, okay? So here I can say this is for July. Let me say equals, I'm just referencing to the month. This is July, okay? I can now bold it. Sorry, let's reduce it. Let's leave it at 14, okay? So now I bold it. So I have my June and July, okay? So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to carry it to this point where I now have count A and count B, okay? So I'm going to expand this table. I'm going to add border to all the table. So this is what we have now, okay? So we're going to look for the count A and count B. Let's say no few. So now we are looking for count and count A for June and July. That is what we have on the question, okay? The question say apply the counts and count a function to June and July record, okay? So now let's proceed. Let's go back to our Excel sheet. So here, for us to get the total, we come here, we say equal to sum. What are you summing? So as you type it, you see that the sum has popped up. For those of you that have been following our class, this won't be a challenge, this won't be an issue for you because you have known how to use your sum, average and all the rest before now, okay? So you click on it. So you now highlight the cell that you want to sum, which is this, okay? Now you close your brackets, press your enter key. So you now have your sum. So we are going to drag it to fill up this from this dot here. See this cross sign appears. So you drag it to fill up the others. By so doing, you have automatically applied the same function to the rest of the cell, the other cells, okay? Instead of doing it one after the other, you are telling Excel, I want you to apply the same formula you used here on these other ones, which is what Excel has just done for you. So let's also do same to the average. The question says we need to get the average, the yearly average of items sold, okay? We are looking at the yearly average, which is each year's average. Now let's click here. We'll now say equal to, now type your average. So as soon as you're typing it, you see the average will pop up. So you click on it. You see click on it. Then where are you taking the average from? Taking from this item so far. This item, okay? From January to December, okay? Then you close your bracket, you press your enter key. This is the average. Now we want the average to be in 2 places of decimal, okay? You want your average to be in 2 places of decimal. So you can still come here. Okay, let's proceed. Let's drag it. As you're dragging it, it's filling up the rest of the cell, okay? So you have filled the rest of the cell, and that is the same thing you have applied. You have told us I want you to apply the same formula used here for this. By so doing, we have gotten the average, we have also gotten the total. Now we are asked to find the difference between the items sold within 2019 and 2018. So the difference now, which is a minus, subtraction. So we are going to go to Excel, we still say subtraction, okay? We're not going to do that now. What are you subtracting? We are subtracting 2019. So click on that 2019 from minus this, right? You're subtracting this from this and press your enter key. So this is it. So by so doing, you have been able to subtract this cell from this cell. What's the difference? This is the difference in items, the value of items you have. So instead of doing it one after the other, you drag it down, okay? Drag it down to December. So it has given you the total number of items sold, the difference between the items in 2019 and the 2018, okay? So now looking at this, you have a value like this. Why do you have this? You have this because now look at this. We are subtracting 433 from nil. When you subtract this from nil, it's not it didn't give you anything, okay? When you say this minus this, the function says C8. Where is your C8? This is your C8, which is this. And you are minusing it from what? From nothing. So you have no value there, okay? No value. So it brings what? No value, okay? So this other one, you're subtracting this from this, and the value is 1. Now let's say you put a value there. Let's put a value here. Let's assume there is a value, and the value is, let's say, 30. You see that there is a value there, okay? But because that place was new, and then we had no value there, okay? So, but now let's say if we had put 0 there, you see that it will still retain the same, it will still retain this value, because this value minus 0 is still this value, and that is what it has given you. But here you are putting a letter which is nil, an alphabet. Excel did not recognize that, and that is why it's telling you no value. The data set doesn't have value. What do you want me to calculate there? So that is it. So now that we have changed the nil to 0, you see that it has returned a value. Now we have succeeded in doing that. Do we still want to get the total of this? If you want the total, you come to this point, you now drag it. It will give you the total of this, okay? It will give you the total, because this value is giving us total. If we still want the average, you come to this point and we drag it to this point. It will give us the average of this particular column, the difference. But we are not asked to find the average, neither are we asked to find the total. We are only asked to find the difference in values, okay, which we have just done, okay. And then we are asked to find the maximum and the minimum. Say apply say we should find the monthly minimum and maximum number of items sold within the 6 years, okay, the monthly minimum. So for us to get the maximum value, you come here, you say equal to, you type your max. See, the maximum function appears, click on it. Then what are you checking? Maximum of what value? From what month to what month? You are looking at January, okay? They say the yearly maximum. So they want to know the month that has the highest value among the 6 years, okay? So we'll now check from here to 2023, okay? That's where we want to stop. And you press your enter key. So it has told us that this one has the highest, which is 2023, has the highest value, okay. So this is the highest value, okay. I know that as we proceed, in order for us not to confuse ourselves, we would have another check whereby you want to know the particular year that has this value. You can write a function and it will now pop it up for us, but we are not going into that now, because we are going gradually. From gradually we'll be going further, okay. So now we've been able to get the maximum value. Do you still want to carry out the same function in all this, doing it one by one? No, rather you are telling Excel, what you did here, I want you to do it in other cells as well. So Excel, just drag it down to December, okay. Excel will fill it up for you, okay. So in the 6 years, these are the minimum values, the minimum items sold within that particular year. These are the highest, okay. So for us to get the minimum, these are the maximum. For us to get the minimum, we do same, okay. We now say minimum equal to, now say minimum, click on it. The minimum of what? From here to this, sorry, we're not adding the difference. From here to here, okay. Bracket close, enter. So you now have the minimum. So this, what month has a particular minimum value of items? You see, it has told this is 2021. So we've gotten it. So now you can now drag it. Tell Excel, apply this same to others, okay. You drag it and it fills up the rest for us, okay. So that's it. We have succeeded in exploring on this, okay. Now the next thing, we are going to do a count on June and July. How do you carry out a count on June, on July? One thing we need to know is that to carry out a count in a cell in a given range that contains only count value, count is carried out on Excel that contains only values. Okay, so now for you to carry out count on this particular cell, you click on the where you want the count to be recorded to be, then let's say equals to, let's say count. Click on it using the count function. So where do you want Excel to count? I want Excel to count, this is June, from here to here. I want him to count everything on that line. Then it has brought the values. It has told you the number of cells on that particular record, okay, on that June record, the yearly records. You've done it, okay? What if you want it to be done horizontally? You can also do same, okay? Now we have done it. What about the July? You note that this June, the Excel did not count this value nil. Why? Because it is not numerical. It only counts the numerical values, okay? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 cells, but it only gives us 8 in return because this one is not numerical. We did not recognize it, okay? So now let's apply same. Let's do same here. So instead of counting, let's just drag this one to fill up this. It still gives us 8. Let's see. This one is a numerical value because it's 0. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it recognizes 0. But what if here is nil? Let's change that place to nil. Will it still give us that 8? You see, it have changed. It have changed. The values have changed. So here, since we change here to nil, it's not recognizing this anymore. And it's also not recognizing an empty cell. It's not recognizing this. So it has reduced. It's now reduced by 2, which is now 6. If you can see, the count value has reduced to 6 because this one is not inclusive, this one is not inclusive, and this one is also not inclusive. So it does not recognize an empty cell and a cell that contains letters. It only considers cell that contains numbers, numerical. Okay, so now let's do the count A. Let's do count A, okay? So now let's say equal to, let's say count. This is the count A. So we want to count from here, June, to this point. Okay? I will close that. Now if you check the count A, you note that it counts everything in the cell except an empty cell, whether it's value, whether it's number, whether it's alphabet or dot or 0, whatever you feel. So long as there's something inside that cell, the count A will count it, but it only omits an empty cell. Now let's do it for this one. Let's just drag this one to this point, okay? You see, we have 8. Why? Because this is an empty cell, so it does not recognize an empty cell. So it's only this value that it did not count. So that is one thing we count A. What if we want to count the number of cells on our entire table? We want to count all the cells on this table. You can still put your cursor here and say count. Okay, let's say here count equals to count. What do you want to count? I want to count from this cell to this last cell. Either you highlight it or you take note of the last cell here and then you put it there, which is this, and press your enter. Okay, so it has told you that the whole cell, the number of cells on all this record, including the average total, everything is 116. Okay, it's 116. So what about the count A? Let's see what value we have there. Now if you put your cursor here, you have J15, right, which is the last cell, while here is a B2. So now let's apply our count A equals to, let's say count count A. So we are counting from this to J, which is this, to J15. To J15. Have highlighted this. This can be done. Sometimes you might have a very big table. Okay, instead of maybe trying to highlight all, you just take note of the last cell. Maybe if you want to highlight your table and impute your value there, and it highlights it. Okay, so now let's press and enter. You see, it gives us 119. What's the difference? Difference of 3. Difference of 3, which means it did not consider this open space. Okay, it did not consider some of the open space, but it considered everything in the cell. All right, so now we've been able to explore on the question. In our next class, we'll still be looking at formulas and function in Excel, and we are given a problem. We are going to explore more on this problem, okay? And we are going to use that same table to calculate a tax rate, okay? Thanks for being with me thus far, and ensure you don't miss out in our next class. Share this link to everyone around you so they can be part of this free online training. If you don't need this package today, remember that others might, as more educational content will keep reaching you from this channel. Once again, I remain Deborah from Devitech. Don't fail to subscribe for notification on our upcoming videos. Thanks and bye for now.